The Hobart Model 2812 slicer is designed for easy, accurate, and consistent slicing, and for years of reliable use. This videotape is to show you how to operate and take care of it for best results. For further information, refer to the instruction manual. Additional or replacement manuals are available from your local Hobart office. Before using the slicer, all safety devices must be in their proper operating position. The top knife cover must be in position and locked with the latch knob snugly turned to the right. When slicing short ends of a product, the meat grip must be used to keep your hands away from the rotating knife and to hold product in place for obtaining maximum yields. When the slicer is not in use, return the carriage to home position and turn the index knob clockwise below the 0 setting. The gauge plate will cover the knife edge. And of course, always unplug the slicer before you move, clean, or service it. The slicer has a 3-prong grounding plug and must be connected to a properly grounded outlet. If you're installing a new slicer, be sure to save all the original packing materials. You'll need them to properly protect the slicer if you ever have to ship it. Before using a new slicer, it is necessary to clean and sanitize it. This requires some easy disassembly and reassembly and is covered later in the cleaning section of this tape. To prepare for slicing, make sure the slicer is clean, the gauge plate is closed, index knob turned clockwise, and pull the carriage all the way toward you until it reaches its stop. Put the product you are going to slice on the carriage tray and set the meat grip against it. Turn the index knob to set the slice thickness you want. The numbers on the knob do not indicate actual measurements, but are simply reference numbers for duplicating thicknesses. An index number must be set. The gauge plate must be open before the slicer will keep running after starting. Start the slicer by checking the 2 points: index number set, gauge plate open, and carriage to home. Pull the on-off switch knob and then release it when the unit is running. With the slicer running, use one of the 2 carriage tray handle choices to push the carriage system back and forth to slice the product. Cross the entire width of the product over the knife to ensure full slices. Return the carriage system to home. Close the gauge plate by turning the index knob clockwise. Then simply push the on-off knob to turn the slicer off. The Hobart Close to Stop feature helps to protect the blade for loading and unloading. Before cleaning, pull the carriage system all the way to the front home position. Unplug the power cord and turn the index knob fully clockwise to close the gauge plate. With the gauge plate closed by turning the index past 0, the carriage system will not tilt away if the gauge plate is open. Unscrew the knob on the carriage system and tilt the assembly to the right until it is almost horizontal. Wipe the surfaces of the machine with a clean cloth soaked in mild detergent and warm water. You can clean the carriage system in the tilted position, or you can remove it from the slicer for thorough sink cleaning. The 3 digits on the carriage system arm key are the same as the last 3 digits of the slicer serial number, so you can make sure the carriage tray is replaced on the right unit. Please note that it is easier to remove the top knife cover with the carriage system and support arm assembly tilted back. Take off the top knife cover by turning the latch knob counterclockwise and lifting the cover from the guide pins. Remove the deflector from its mounting below the slicer knife by pulling it downward. Clean the top knife cover and deflector in a sink using warm soapy water. Rinse with clean water. Take off the sharpener by pushing the lock lever to the left. Then lift the right side of the sharpener up to free it from its guide pin. Continue lifting the sharpener off, clearing the left guide pin. Wipe out the inside of the sharpener housing and clean the sharpener in a sink. Rinse it with fresh water. The Hobart sharpening system is submersible and scrubbable for supporting thorough cleaning procedures. Clean completely around the ring guard by working a moistened paper towel between the ring guard and knife. Enter the towel at the base of the ring guard using the small corner section of the towel. The excess of the towel should be on top of the ring guard. Walk the knife around and the towel will rotate accordingly, cleaning the ring guard. Wash and rinse both sides of the knife by wiping outward from the center. Use a mild detergent or sanitizer solution only. Never clean any part of the slicer with steel pads. To replace the clean sharpener, line up the two guide pins as shown. Back left position first, then drop over the front right pin position. Slide the lock lever to the right to lock the sharpener in position. Make sure it is seated on the pins in the bracket. Then put the top knife cover back in place by positioning it with the three guide pins. Turn the latch knob to the left while lowering the top knife cover. Then release the knob. Replace the deflector below the slicer knife by guiding the bottom of the socket onto the mount and pushing it upward. To reinstall the carriage system, lower it straight down so the key at the bottom of the support arm fits into the carriage pivot. Then tilt the carriage tray and support arm assembly to the left to position it next to the gauge plate. Turn the knob on the carriage tray support arm clockwise until completely snug. The Model 2812 slicer has a cleaning leg for easy cleaning beneath it. With the carriage system and support arm assembly removed, raise the front of the slicer and the leg will swing down. Pull it all the way to the front to support the slicer. Do not wash any slicer components in a dishwasher or immerse the slicer base or motor in water. To sharpen the knife, turn the index knob clockwise to close the gauge plate and unplug the power cord. Remove the top knife cover by turning the latch knob counterclockwise and lifting the cover. Thoroughly wash the area around the knife, the exposed knife surfaces, and the knife edge. Plug in the slicer and pull the carriage tray fully forward. Start the slicer with your right hand by pulling the switch knob fully forward and holding it out. Then with your left hand, lift the sharpener handle until it's horizontal. Pull it fully forward and hold for 5 seconds. Slowly release it. If necessary, sharpen again for another 5 seconds. Then turn off the slicer and unplug it. Wipe it with a damp cloth to remove any grinding particles and replace the top knife cover. Lubricate the slicer by squirting 8 to 10 drops of Lubriplate FMO 200 AW oil supplied with the slicer into the wick hole on the Carriage Transport. Or if you prefer, once a month apply 4 or 5 drops of oil directly onto the Carriage Slide Rod on each side of the Carriage Transport. Then move the carriage back and forth a few times to spread the oil over the length of the rod. With proper operation, cleaning, and maintenance, your Hobart Model 2812 slicer will provide many years of superior trouble-free performance. For further information on the Hobart Model 2812 slicer, check your instruction manual or contact your local Hobart office.